Did you just have ACL reconstruction surgery and you want to know if you're on the right pace? We're going to go over what we look for with our athletes 1 month following ACL reconstruction surgery. My name is Dr. Marco Lopez, Doctor of Physical Therapy and Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist and co-founder of the Basketball Doctors. So let's just jump into it, guys. So what are our main goals that we want to look at for someone? Obviously, everyone's different. Some people have a meniscus repair, meniscectomy following their ACL surgery, or MCL damage. We're talking about someone that just had an isolated ACL surgery, ACL reconstruction surgery. We're going to go over our markers that we want and we normally see that have great success down the line if they hit these markers within the first month. All right, guys, so we're going to go over the main goals that we look for someone that has an isolated ACL surgery, meaning there was no other procedure involved, such as meniscectomy, meniscus repair, any MCL reconstruction, or any other bone bruise. It's just straight isolated ACL reconstruction surgery. What are the goals that we look for? So the first things first is we want to make sure you are clear of any post-op complications, meaning you are not having excessive swelling or excessive pain in your knee, or have any signs of infection or graft rejection or DVT. These are all things that your surgeon is checking, at that 2-week follow-up or even at that 1 month follow-up. You want to make sure that is cleared, because if you have any of those issues, we want to get those cleared as soon as possible. All right, guys, so now once we're past that post-op complication phase and we're all clear of that, these are the minimum standards. So we want to encourage more, but this is like the bare minimum. So the first thing is the range of motion. We want to have between 0 to 90 degrees of range of motion. And this is the bare minimum. Normally, I want to see more of that hyperextension and going more to 120, but bare minimum, we want to be between that 0 to 90. The reason why is usually at that 1 month mark, if you're not hitting these 0 to 90 range of motion markers, a lot of the surgeons will start telling you about potentially going into manipulation under anesthesia. Meaning because you're forming that scar tissue, because that knee is not moving, they might have to put you under to really get that knee to move more. So one of the basic things you want to be working on is getting to at least 0 and to 90 degrees. And the best thing to help with that is having several little bouts of range of motion exercises throughout the day, as opposed to having one big bout in the morning and afternoon. You want to break it up into several bouts and get that knee moving as much as you can throughout the day. And if you guys have any questions regarding several different types of exercises for the range of motion, click the description below. We have great videos on how to get your knee straight and how to get your knee bending. All right, guys, so now once you cleared that range of motion phase, the next one is getting that quad activated. So we want a good quad contraction. A lot of the people that we work with, surgeons, they usually like to do that straight leg raise test without an extensor leg. So meaning you're laying down on your back, you keep your leg straight, you activate your quad, and you lift your leg up. If you, as you're lifting up your leg up, your knee slightly bends, you did not pass the test. So you had that extensor leg. So we want to make sure you have a good quad contraction at the end of the first month, meaning you squeeze your quad and you're able to pass this test. And also when you squeeze your quad, the back of your knee goes down towards the ground as opposed to going up. And that's what we see often with people is they'll try to activate their quad and their knee doesn't get straight. So getting that good quad contraction is huge in the first month, and it doesn't occur if you don't have that 0 degrees, at least the range of motion. That's why we encourage more. And like I mentioned, this is the bare minimum standard. You want to get that good quad contraction. Usually at 1 month, we have people doing several different quad exercises, but we want to see all of our athletes getting to that good quad contraction at the end of the first month. All right, guys, the last goal that we want to be working towards at the end of the month, and like I said, bare minimum, is starting to normalize your walking pattern. That means if you're on crutches, 2 crutches, 1 crutch, or maybe without crutches, but we want to get back to normalizing that walking pattern as much as we can. And the way we're going to be able to normalize that walking pattern, we have to hit those 2 previous goals, meaning we have to have that range of motion and we have to have that good quad contraction. If we don't have those 2 previous goals, we can't normalize our walking. And like I mentioned, this is the bare minimum. Normally at that month, we want to have potentially off the crutches altogether. We might not be walking completely straight, maybe with a slight little limp, because it takes a while for you to relearn how to walk, but you're normally getting that walking as normalized as possible. But like I mentioned, walking cannot be done without those 2 previous goals. So to recap the big things that we want to see all of our athletes achieve, bare minimum, like this is the bare minimum, is have no post-op complications, meaning no excessive swelling, no excessive pain, and no DVT, infection, or graft rejection. Range of motion, we want to get to 0 to 90 degrees at least there. We also want to have a good quad contraction. Straight leg raise test is a good one that a lot of people do, but just make sure that quad could activate and you could feel the quad activate. And the last one is getting back to normally walking again. So those are our main goals for the first month. Like I mentioned, these are bare minimum. If you guys have any questions or you guys want us to help you out in achieving those goals that you're stuck, send us an email. We work with people in Southern California, Los Angeles, and Orange County area, and also work with people online. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you like this video, share this with other friends that are dealing with ACL reconstruction surgery or they feel they're left behind. But like I mentioned, everyone's different, but this is the one that we want to hit bare minimum standards for just an isolated ACL reconstruction surgery. Hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to our channel. We are the Basketball Doctors. Let's ball for life.